Yep.
Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the Friday Lunchtime Live from Stars UK. I'm coming to you live from the Heat Printing Innovation Centre here in Braintree. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining me today. Today we're going to be discussing how to turbocharge your heat press, little tips, tricks, and helpful ideas for you to make the most out of your heat press. So if you've already got one, you can apply these tips and tricks to just about any type of heat press you've got: clamshell, swing and draw, double header. You can apply these to everything. So what I want to do is give you some quick and easy and cost-effective ways of taking your heat press to the next level. Because it's not always easy to go for a new heat press, but sometimes you do need to be able to be faster and more efficient. So anyone that is joining us today, if there is anything you're doing that you think doesn't make sense, I'm spending too much time doing this, I wish this didn't take so long, leave a comment with like your biggest bugbear or your biggest problem, and I'll see if we have a solution for you and a way of finding a quick way to do it. And why is this so important for you as garment decorators? Because time is everything. When it comes to the most important metrics or KPIs of your business, the time it takes for that t-shirt on the press is one of the most important things out there. If you don't understand how long it takes, or if you've not measured it, this should be one of the first things you do after you finish the live today. Get someone with a stopwatch or set the timer going on your phone and just see how long it takes to fuse it to one t-shirt, 10 t-shirts, or a few t-shirts. If you've got people working for you, do it in a discreet way so it's not uncomfortable for them, but you really should understand how long it takes to fuse a t-shirt, a hoodie, a jacket, anything that you're fusing. You should have a kind of rough guide for how long you think it would take, because that is the only true way you can really quote for that work properly, and the only way you can become more efficient, because you need that baseline of what am I starting with, and where am I going to improve it? How am I going to get quicker? And it's really important you get quicker and more efficient, because the quicker you are, the more business you can take on, the more profitable you can be. And that's what you really want to. That's why you're joining us today. You want to be able to make more money from your heat printing business. And the best way to do that, the quickest way to do that, is to be more efficient with the setup you already have. Of course, we have the world's best heat presses with us, but you can apply these to many other tools. So again, any problems you've got, I really want to hear those, read those comments. I really want to help answer those questions for you, because I know that some strange things still being done. I spoke to quite a few customers at the winter warm-up event a couple of weeks ago, and there's still a couple of things where that doesn't make sense, or perhaps you've inherited a process from someone where you've either bought the business or you've worked your way up, and you're just following the guidelines that have been set for you. But the easiest hack, the easiest way to save time and money, is to actually read the instructions that are sent when you get your transfer order, your vinyl order, whatever you're putting under the heat press. If you're not applying the exact instructions that are given to you with your order, that's kind of red flag number one that you might not be your most efficient, because it means that you're adding steps into the process, or worse, you're cutting down the process, and it could be affecting the actual application. But what I find to be the most common problem that I come across for decorators is the adding steps in. And I know it's perhaps a confidence thing, or it's just the way you've been taught to do it. But every time we send transfers out, we always send the instructions every single time. So if your process is different from that, you're doing something wrong. And the reason you're doing something wrong is because when we send those instructions out, they are the exact instructions. The time, temperature, pressure, which you hear us talking about every single week, is because it's so important that you follow these instructions, because these are the way to get more efficient, and these are the ways to get the best application. When it comes to heat transfers, they have this powder on the back here, and we develop them in a very specific way to go down a very specific time, temperature, and pressure. So anything outside of those numbers is wrong. And many of you are applying a transfer. You're either, sometimes you're pre-pressing too long, 3 to 5 seconds what you need to do. You don't really need to go for a 10-second. Doesn't help you at all. Unless those garments are really full of moisture and they really need to be steamed out, and which is unlikely, 3 to 5 seconds is fine. So if you're doing more than 3 to 5 seconds, the first tip right there is to cut that time down to 3 to 5 seconds. So again, save 5 seconds every t-shirt, and you can save that time every single day, every single t-shirt. You're going to save a lot of time. You're going to save days back just from that. Follow the instructions. If we say 10 seconds, it's 10 seconds. We say it's 12 seconds, it's 12 seconds. Don't do 12 instead of 10. Don't do 15 instead of 12. There's no benefit to you. We've measured this to be the perfect recipe. We've wash tested this. We've wash tested it again. So these instructions are the best way to do it. So if you're adding seconds to it, you're not getting any benefit from it. It's just there as perhaps a peace of mind because you're worried about this transfer staying on. If you're buying good quality transfers, they're going to stay on if you follow the instructions. There's no benefit. But the most common mistake people make, and this is the biggest one, and this is if you take anything away from today, it's this, is don't second press your transfers. So if you're fusing, you're doing a pre-press, you're doing a main press, and then you're peeling and fusing again, stop doing that. I speak to so many people that like, I hit it for another 4 seconds, sometimes another 10 seconds, but there's no benefit to it. If there was a benefit to it, we would tell you to do it. But there isn't a benefit. It's just something you're adding on because, I don't know, I want to do it. It makes me feel more confident, but you're not getting in a better application. I encourage you to do a side-by-side with the one-step application, the two-step application, leave them for a couple of days and then wash them and wash them and wash them and see if there's any difference. Come back to us and I guarantee you there'll be no difference. So that 10 seconds you're adding is not giving you any benefit at all. In fact, it's probably adding another 40% of time to your production time. So if you can cut that 40% time down just by following the instructions correctly, you've already turbocharged your heat press. You don't need anything more. You've cut down your production by almost half, which means that you can double your capacity without having to spend any more money just by following the instructions. So that is tip number one. And that's one of the most important things to do. Stop adding second steps to your process. We don't need to do it because our transfers, our vinyl are amazing. They go down with the instructions the way we tell you to do it because we want you to be efficient. That's why we're having this event today. We want to help you be more efficient, more profitable, and gain there. So if you are adding a second step to your application for your transfers, stop doing it. You don't need to do it. And if your supplier's telling you to do it, it's a bit of a red flag, really, to be honest with you. So pre-press, main press, done. Move on to the next one. So that right there is a quick way to turbocharge your heat press without having to spend any money. So that way you can get a lot more money just because you've become more efficient. And that's the mindset you need to get into today and after today is looking at every single element and try and disrupt yourself. What are you doing now that you could be doing differently or better? Time it, think about it, process it, and then do a test on it. See if it helps you. See if you do save some time. Because if you could save 10 seconds a day and you did 100 t-shirts a day, so 10 seconds a t-shirt and you could do 100 t-shirts a day, that actually adds up to 11 working days a year at the end of the year, because it really adds up and really accumulates, and you can get so much more time back because of it. Imagine if you were printing 100 t-shirts a day and you made £5 each time and you had another 11 days to do that. That would be a really nice extra bit of revenue at the end of the year to have in. If you're doing 500 t-shirts, that's going to be even more revenue for you. So really just follow the instructions and try and disrupt yourself. So any questions you've got around how you could disrupt yourself, things you don't like you're doing, please do leave comments about it or contact us after the event with some ideas or questions and queries, and we'll be able to solve them for you.
We do have some comments coming.
Let's go for it.
A couple of hellos. Hello to Eric on Instagram. We've got Darren and Armchair Detective with us on YouTube as per usual. But Dirty Shaker on Instagram says neck tags are the most draining for them.
Okay. Well, I do have a couple of tools for neck tags. I was going to save this to the end, but you've asked the question, so let's go straight to it. I have a couple of solutions for you. One thing is, are you using a second platen at the moment? So thinking about that process, there's a couple of ways to do neck tags. Let me just grab a t-shirt. One way is to just put the t-shirt on, do it inside out and do it again. That's one way to do it. So you've got to put it on, follow the instructions again, then peel it, turn it inside out and do it again, which you could do if it was a larger top like this one. You could turn that inside out and get the whole product on there. It's sometimes a bit more difficult switching between different sizes. So depending on how large the print is on the front, that's one way you could do it. You could do it with a smaller platen. So if you are putting a brand in there and you're doing, say, multiples of that, 50, 100, 200 more, then perhaps consider doing all of the neck labels at once, and then all of the front prints, back prints, whatever else prints you want to do then. So don't kind of swap between the actual process of what you're fusing. So if you're going to do a front chest and a neck label, do all the front chest, then all the neck labels, or vice versa, because that could be a more efficient way of doing it, because that way you can get into a rhythm of fusing each particular size. But if you want the most effective way to do it, just move this around. We do have a tool for that. So I'm just going to pop this off here. So again, only a kind of bonus hack is have a press of interchangeable platen. So you can switch between different platens very quickly if you need to.
They've come back and said we print front, then sleeve, and then neck.
Okay, well, that's very easy to do for us to help. So let me introduce you to the tag-along platen. This has 2 placements at once. So this is a really quick and easy way of getting some efficiency going. So pop it on here. Lock it in place. So this is compatible with all 40 by 50 centimeter Hotronics heat presses. First thing to do is check the pressure. Let's see, it's a little bit light. So just do a couple of extra tests so we can get it locked in. We're looking for about a 4 or 5 on here, probably a 4. So then when we add a t-shirt in, it's going to hit a 5. At the moment, we're on a 1, so just do quarter turns at a time. So anyone that struggles with finding the right pressure, quarter turns at a time. Take your time. Have a t-shirt that you don't mind getting rid of. You can use it at the beginning each day. So let's grab a t-shirt. So I have a Bella Canvas one here. And it was front chest, neck print, and a sleeve, right?
They do front, then sleeve, then neck.
Okay, so where we're going to change that, we're going to do slightly differently. We're going to do front and neck at the same time. So straight away, we're probably going to save you 20 seconds a t-shirt, I would guess.
Adds up significantly.
Yeah, so just slide it on. I'll try and do this at the side. So it will be a lot quicker if you're doing this facing the press, but I want you to see what I'm up to. So make sure the t-shirt sits on there. I actually quite like using this pattern just because of the way the collar sits on here. So sometimes if you're doing front chest stuff, it's actually quite nice just to use this pattern anyway, because the collar will sit just inside of that. Where you can see you've got this quick slip built in, which we're going to cover a little bit later. So make sure that's off there. Then you bring the neck through here. So do leave a comment if you can't quite see this. I'll step to the side in a sec. So you've got the chest out here, you've got the neck there. Very easily, I'll just pull that to the side for now. And we give it a pre-press. Then we're going to grab a couple of transfers. So I've got front chest. I have a neck label. So I'm just going to tuck the neck label under there. Then I can use the tearaway label to get rid of that one. So now it's just purely branded as your item. I have another neck label here, actually. I'm going to use this for the sleeve. So now, really easy. Just clamp it down, 12 seconds. Remember, I'm not going to do any second steps here. I'm using an Ultracolor Max direct-to-film heat transfer for this, so I can peel hot. It's fusing at 145 degrees for 12 seconds, medium pressure. You can see the neck label's actually peeled itself anyway. So then what we can do, we can slide this off here, grab that t-shirt sleeve, come back around, and then we can hook it on there, pre-press again, get your sleeve transfer, pop it on there, 12 seconds later. So this is probably going to take half the time. Please do feel free to leave a follow-up comment on how you think this times versus what you're doing. Remember, it would take a lot less time for me to thread it on. I just want to make sure you can see what we're up to. Peel the transfer. There we go, just like that. It took probably a minute at most, if that. So you've got front chest, neck label, and a sleeve print.
It's actually a really nice process just using
Yeah.
one platen for 3 as well, because you're not having to take things off and on the heat press.
No,
Yeah.
it's so much more efficient to do it that way. You get a really nice placement with the neck label. It's the best way to find the center of the shirt, just because of the way it sits so nicely on here. You just thread it on, pull the neck through, do your fusing, and then take it off and pull that arm through there.
They've come back and they've said my mind is blown. Amazing.
There we go. So then you've got a nice sleeve print there as well. And you could do this with, you know, you've got a pretty generous size of the neck label here. So this will fit. This is actually a 2XL t-shirt as well. So you can see it fits in there nicely. You've got nice coverage there, but you've got plenty of room to adapt with. And you can get all adult shirts on there very easily. So that's a very, very quick way of doing neck labels. So normally if you're doing that, let's say if you're doing them all at the same time. So first of all, if you haven't got one of these, I would do them all separately. So I would batch print them if you haven't got a tag along pattern. So that way you could do front chest, all the front chest, all the neck labels, all the arms. But you're probably looking at, say, 40 seconds each print that way. So almost a couple of minutes by the time you've kind of changed and got it in the right place. Now you've had to bring another accessory to do the sleeve. So that way it could take 2-3 minutes per t-shirt, but that way you could probably get done in a minute quite easily because of the way that the neck label sits on the platen, the sleeve fits on the platen, and then it's got the quick slip for the front chest. So the whole placement and actually getting the t-shirt onto the platen is so much quicker. So you're probably looking at sort of 30, 40, maybe even like a minute and a half savings by getting one of these platens. So I will let you know, this is one of the more expensive heat press platens, but it's still around the £400 mark. So if you think about how much time you could save by, I don't know, if you did 100 t-shirts and you could save 60 seconds every time, you're looking at like, and if you do that for every single t-shirt, you could be looking at like half a year back. That's really not even an exaggeration of how much time saving you can make.
It's worth noting as well, I've done it in a pinch. I've had that platen on the press and I've hooked the end of the t-shirt over and done like a bottom seam placement as well, because the neck label area is very grippy, so it will hold the t-shirt. So it's not just for neck labels and front chest. It's
very popular, like say Beth, there to do something on the bottom left or right of the t-shirt. So you could very easily, we could probably fit it on most t-shirts on the same press anyway, but like you say, it's got that grip on there, so you can just easily just bring it through. It just sits on there. I had to try a tool to get that to stay on there.
Armchair Detective says, will that platen fit my Adkins?
It won't, I'm afraid. This is only for Hotronics heat presses because it has the interchangeable platen. So something that we're a big fan of is making life easy for actually changing between platens and also growing between heat presses. So this particular pin, platen size, which is all patented, is available across all of the Hotronics heat presses. So if you're starting out with an auto open and maybe you go to Fusion or dual layer Fusion, you can always keep your platens and swap between the different presses. So that way you can make them all very versatile that way. Okay. Any questions, follow up from that one?
Not so much follow-up questions, a couple of comments coming in on YouTube. I think this one might be in reference to the comment you said about second pressing transfers. Marco says, how about to have a matte finish on a second press? Does it work? Because we were talking about saving time and not needing to second press.
Sometimes on vinyl it can work. So you can, if the vinyl's got maybe a little bit of a shine to it, you can do a second press to kind of get a little bit more matte, making it feel like a screen print almost. With our heat transfers, we are very big on a matte finish. So all of our transfers that we provide aren't glossy. So if you're using Ultracolor or Inktra or Ultracolor Max, they don't have a glossy finish to them anyway. They are a matte, semi-matte finish. So you're not going to get a benefit in that case because you've already got a matte finish at the beginning. So I hope that answers your question. But vinyl, yes, sometimes. Premium plush, I've seen it done and look quite nice with. But like Inktra, for instance, is going to be matte anyway. Okay, so we've kind of gone a little bit to the end and come back, but we're going to come back around because I just want to start small with some little tips and tricks as well. So for any of you that are out there weeding, you've got some nice heat transfer vinyl. Perhaps you picked up some of the new glow colors, the new soft foam dimensional vinyl, or perhaps you tried the new glimmer that we launched a couple of weeks ago. The best tool for you, this is very inexpensive, is an LED weeder. So you see, it looks like a normal weeder. But then we can turn the lights on. See, there we go. And this means that when you're doing that weeding, which can be one of the most time-consuming parts of the job, you're going to be able to see all the cut lines really clearly, even like if it's got a white backer on it or any kind of light color backer that's normally difficult, perhaps the glitter where it's a little grainy. It means you can guide yourself around and find those cavities and pick them out really, really easily just by using a lighted weeder. These are really inexpensive as well. You just pick away, pick away, pick away. At any time you can save 5-10 seconds in weeding, you could be saving 20, 30 a minute sometimes. Some of the very complicated weeding jobs, just by getting an LED weeder, this lights the way for you. It's also available as a pin as well. So depending on if you prefer a pin or a hook to do your weeding, you can see it here as well. So give it a little bit of light there. It just makes life so much easier because, like I said, anything you can do to shave time off your production time is going to be a big win for you as a business. So that's why it's really important for you to think and think and think about how long everything takes. Time it, understand it, and see where you can make some gains. Just by the tiniest little bits, you can make some really quick and easy gains. The next one is kind of not really going to save lots of time. We'll save a little bit of time, but this is one for anyone that has sort of worries about using a cheap heat press. So one of the biggest problems with a cheap heat press is that it doesn't have over-center pressure. When it comes to these machines, they have pressure that goes down in the middle, so the press always comes down perfectly. But with a cheap heat press, it comes down at the back first and then moves forward. Sometimes that can move your garment, move your transfer. And then you tend to end up with more damaged goods because the transfers move, the prints move, it's not in the right place, it's wonky. So do yourself a favor and just pick up some heat tape. This is, again, really, really simple. Just tape your transfer on. So then if your heat press moves, you can always get it in the right place every single time. And if you're using the 360 IQ hat press, which we did live on about a month ago, this is a great combination to have these two together. So with a hat press, I always use tape when I'm fusing vinyl or patches, just because you've got to put a foam pad on there, which has got a little bit more movement, it's much more likely to move the transfer around. So if you put a little bit of tape on there, then the easiest and most efficient way to get the tape back off. So even if you're not using vinyl, but you want to be more efficient when you're actually taking tape off even, rather than like picking at it with your nail for like 10, 15 seconds, trying to find the edge of it, just get a little pin hook or a hook, just the hooked weeder, and you can easily lift that tape off. And that means, again, you can save a little bit of time every single hat, every single t-shirt, just by kind of lifting a little bit. Be careful, because if you go in too dangerous, you don't want to stab that t-shirt or the hat and put an imperfection into it. But if you're very gentle, you just lever off that tape a little bit, and then you can just pull it to the side and then do the peel process. I wouldn't peel from the tape through the transfer. I always tend to lift the tape up a little bit and then peel. Just makes your life that little bit easier. And again, if you can save another 10 seconds there, another 10 seconds here, you're going to save so much time over the year just by doing these little hacks, which means either more revenue for your business, it means you don't have to work as many long. If you're doing this at home on your own, you could perhaps work 7 hours a day instead of 10 hours a day, because all this time is going to add up. Maybe you could take the weekend off because you've already got through your work because you've been more efficient. And if you're a big business as well, you're going to be saving like weeks and months a year just by subtracting 10 seconds here, 5 seconds there, 10 seconds there. It's going to really, really add up throughout the year. So the next step, we've kind of skipped a little bit forward. So I'm going to take the tag-along pattern back off. So I want to talk about quick slips and covers for your heat press. just put this down here.
So while I'm doing that, I'll just answer Ryan's question on Facebook, who's asked, what blade type do you recommend for cutting a 3D high build vinyl? It does depend on what cutter you're using, but a deep cut blade is the best one for that.
Yeah. If in doubt, when it comes to blades, just send us an email, give the customer service team a call, because they're very well experienced vinyl cutters, and they can help you talk through what you're trying to achieve, what the design looks like, because there's quite a few variables in there that you need to think about, but we can always help you there. As well, is something that we don't really talk about very much, but we do have blade sharpening services. So anyone that is cutting high build, it will go through the blades quicker, but we do actually have a sharpening service that we can provide for you. So if that is anything you're doing, that you're interested in, just contact and get in touch with us. We'll be very happy to help with you there. So I want to talk about quick slips. Again, this is something that you can do with any heat press. It's very easy to get hold of a cover. We have covers of many sizes. Quick slips are there to make your life easier when it comes to thread on, thread off. And this is something that really makes a difference to your business. This is where you can save a lot of time. So we have done a video about this. There is a video on our YouTube channel where we walk through the whole process of going from clamshell all the way to the most expensive solution. I'm going to do the kind of the abridged version of it today. But if you really want to deep dive into how you can save that time and a little bit more of a look at it, then that's a good place to start. So I actually already have one of the hacks in place. So you can see here when I put my arm all the way under, this is not something that comes as standard with heat presses. They tend to sit on a table about this height. I've put this onto a caddy stand. They do come available as a counter caddy, which will sit onto a worktop or a desktop if you have one. And this is a very quick and easy hack. Most of our heat press bundles come with these as standards. So if you are thinking about getting a heat press, very easy to get hold of them. But what they do is they invite threadability into your process. And it's a very easy way of saving 5-10 seconds every single t-shirt. So if you imagine your plaiting normally starts here and you have to kind of walk it on, but here I've got that clearance. So I've got nice threadability. I can separate the layers. I'm still seeing lots of people heat printing and just placing a t-shirt on like that, which is great if you want to have a nice neck mark in the back of your t-shirt. Don't do it. It doesn't look very good. It's not very good for isolating areas, and probably not going to get as good at application with your transfer of vinyl onto the t-shirt. So why do we talk about quick slips quite a lot? It's because they can be your best friend. They can really help your business. When you're placing a t-shirt on, sometimes you can, it's not always the most efficient process, depending if you're using something like polyester, which you kind of catch on the edges a bit. You have to spend a bit more time lining it up because the pads are designed to grip the garment for you so it doesn't move. Sometimes it can take you 5-10 seconds just to put the t-shirt on, which again, is not the most efficient way of doing it. That's why we developed quick slips. Again, it's a very inexpensive hack for your heat press. Getting a quick slip like this that can just attach to your heat press very easily is going to make a big difference. All you need to do is grab the corners, go to the heat press, hook it on, hook the other two ends, and you've got a nice, smooth, rapid surface now. So when I take this t-shirt now, it just glides on. So I've got the threadability from the stand, and I've got this quick slip here, which just glides on. Positioning is very easy now, but that 5 seconds, it could be 10 seconds, depending on the user, it's going to make a massive difference. So if you remember, every 5-10 seconds is so important to your business because you're garment decorators. So that metric is very important because it will let you know if you've got more capacity. It also let you know where you're being more inefficient, and it will also let you know if you're starting to make some gains. So let's say it takes you a minute per t-shirt now. If you can start to shave that 5, 10, 15 seconds off, you can really notice a big difference at the end of the year. Or if that rush job comes in, you would normally say no to, you might find actually, because we're more efficient now, we can actually say yes to that job because we know we can get through the work so much quicker than we could do before. And one of the best ways is with a quick slip. These are available across 15 different sizes, so it can fit onto just about any heat press that we've got, any platen we've got, And I'll even work on, this person mentioned they did have an Adkins. Unfortunately, you can't use interchangeable platens. There might be a heat press quick slip for you, so at least you could save 10 seconds here. You can get that extra business in there, and then maybe in the future you can get a nice Hotronix heat press. But it's just glide on, glide off. And if I was to face directly to the heat press rather than trying to do this at an angle, even quicker. Just like that, it's done. It's on there. The tiniest adjustment at most to get it centered, and that's it. That's how quick it was. So it really is 5-10 seconds quicker, just with the tiniest little adjustment.
Dawn says they love the threadability.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So do we.
It does. It makes a big difference. All of the heat presses in our innovation center here are all set up with either a caddy stand or a counter caddy, or like the Fusion IQ we have over here. Comes with it as standard built into the stand, so it's got the threadability underneath anyway, because all of the staff here would be absolutely appalled now if they had to go back to not having threadability, just because it makes everyone's life so much easier.
I can agree with that.
It's so much quicker, and it's just the easiest way to upgrade that heat press and turbocharge it and take it to the next level.
I will say as well, Dawn, it's most noticeable when you're using things like hoodies with long sleeves and long hoods.
Yeah.
Whereas previously you'd be cramming them under a press. With threadability, you don't need to do that. They just hang off.
Yeah, very nice and simple. We also do have lots of different sizes of them as well. So like I say, we can find a solution for you which can save you 5-10 seconds every single time. So why I have the biggest platen on there, I want to talk about heat press pillows and pads. So one of the best ways to take your heat press to the next level is to give it some more options, make it more versatile. And a very easy way to get started with that is to be able to efficiently create and with the best application, different types of garments. So this hoodie here, you can see it's got the pocket at the front here. That is a problem if you're just putting it under a heat press as standard. If you're using an accurate press like a Hotronix, which is so accurate, you could tell if there's a piece of paper under there. That's how accurate it is. So if you're going to put a bulky pocket under there, it's going to regulate the pressure from the pocket. And this is true of all heat presses. It's just even more accurate with the Hotronix. So to be able to take your heat press to the next level, to be able to offer more jobs, most people start with t-shirts because they're an easy way to get started. Then you might add in like a crew neck jumper, but there's still no pockets. Well, some of them got some pockets now. Most of them are just flat down, but you want to be able to start offering hoodies, especially this time of year. People want hoodies. They want stuff with pockets on them. So a very easy way to turn that heat press to the next level with a heat press pillow. So that way, again, very inexpensive way to take your heat press to the next level, having to spend lots of money. It gives you more versatility, it gives you more options when you're printing. So the way this would work is you can just thread your hoodie on as normal. So you can see it sliding off there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the pocket is sitting here. Especially these pocket seams, as it meets the bottom of the hoodie here, it's really standing up. So when this comes down, it's really going to be affected by that pressure.
I think because it's black, it's not super. It's not coming.
Try and show it. Like, so if I put my hand under here, that's where the pocket
it's in
is.
The pocket. It's
probably adding about 4 millimeters to the height at which the pressure is going to be regulated, and it's going to get in the way. That's why we created these heat press pillows. They're nice and spongy. They're made from this heat press material. And they allow you to adjust the height at where you want to apply, because you want all of the pressure to be regulated right in the middle here where your transfer is going to go. So you can either put it on to start off with, you could thread through the hood here. So we
just realised, I think Dawn that commented on YouTube, I think we met Dawn recently.
Did we?
At the Ralloise Winter Warmer event. If that is you, Dawn, thank you for commenting.
Yes, I think I know exactly who you mean now, Beth. So we have added more height now. So the pillow here has raised it. So the pocket now, you can't see it, it's just sitting below the pillow. The pillow stops here. Now the pocket is below. So we're going to be able to get perfect pressure every single time. I'm going to loosen off the pressure here. So I'm going to do some pressure tests. So I'm going to take the timer down to 3 seconds, just so I get my pressure at the right time. So again, if you're starting this at the beginning and end of the day, turn your heat press down to like 2 or 3 seconds when you're getting the pressure right. If you're switching, you've done all your t-shirts, now you can do all your hoodies. Get a low timer, because otherwise you're going to spend 12 seconds waiting for this to auto open, which is going to be inefficient. So it's not going to save you loads of time throughout the year, but every time you put a pillow in or you change fabric types, it's always good to be more efficient. So let's see how the pressure feels. I can already feel that's going to be too high. So I'm going to do a couple of quarter turns here. And I can feel it when I'm pulling this down. This should be easy to do. When we talk about medium pressure, we should be able to do this 2 fingers, and I can feel the resistance even before I've clicked it into place. So again, a few more turns, and let's see how it does. Yeah, still too much pressure. So it's really important. And a lot of people we spoke to at the winter warm-up are doing too much pressure still. So let's see, we're on a 9 still now. I've done it quite a few quarter turns now. So just keep going a few more times. That felt a bit better. 4, that'll do. So now change your timer back to that 3-second pre-press, 12-second main press. And for anyone that didn't join us at the winter warm-up event, we are going to be rerunning it as a digital event next month. Unfortunately, you won't get the wonderful goodie bags we had from all of our suppliers, and you won't be able to come here and ask all those other questions. But hopefully we'll be able to bring some of that to you. I know many of you who did attend are already out there selling jackets and making a lot more revenue with these premium items. So well done for everyone that attended and has phoned us up and got in touch to say it's really useful for them, and they've managed to add a lot more revenue into their business because of that. One of the questions that came up there was around pressure. People, when we talk through the arch method, which I know Molly has covered before and she will cover again on this event, is that actually understanding pressure. So we talked about the time, not adding steps in there. It's really important you don't add extra pressure as well, because one, you don't need to. All you're going to do is crush the fibers of that t-shirt, that hoodie, that jacket by adding that pressure in, which is actually going to make a worse sort of text. The actual surface for actually applying is going to be worse because you've ruined the fibers and the way they transfer can grip onto it. So anyone that thinks adding more pressure is going to make my transfer stay on longer, I'm afraid you're wrong. So now we're going to start from the beginning. We've got the pillow in, the pockets out the way. We're going to do a quick pre-press. We're sitting on a 5 for pressure, which is great. Going to grab heat transfer. So I've got Ultracolor Max Direct to Film. Place it on the pillow. Something that is very important at this step is make sure that your transfer is not hanging off the pillow. So we have multiple sizes of pillows. So think about the average size of your transfer or your vinyl that you're putting under the heat press, and pick the pillow that works for you. If your transfer is kind of half on, half off, it won't apply properly. You want the transfer to sit within the pillow. We do have bigger ones if you need one. This one is sitting perfect. So the transfer ends here, and the pillow has got about an inch or so around each side of it. So this is going to be easy. Again, put it down, 12 seconds, and that's all you have to do. That's a very quick and easy way of taking the heat press to the next level from just t-shirts or flat items to be able to do anything with pockets, seams, anything that could get in the way.
Build it for you.
Build it for me. That's how efficient these Ultracolor Max are. And then we can just take it off, leave the pillow there. I would personally would thread with the pillow. I find that a little bit quicker. But again, that comes down to you finding the process that works for you, that is going to be quickest and most efficient. So try, when you get accessories like pillows in there, and we do have ones that can fit onto sleeves and legs, or these are really great if you've got something with a zip down there and you want to do a left chest on it, then I would encourage you to, is that a question we've got? You can see
no, I was going to butt in, and I realised you hadn't stopped talking. Baby grows.
Baby
so
grows.
Good for children's clothing.
There we go, because they're a little bit smaller, actually they can just kind of straddle the pillow that way. But there's a solution for everything, and the pillow just makes your life a little bit easier, and it's a very quick and inexpensive way to be able to add more products into your portfolio. The more products you get in, the more premium products you get in, the more you can afford to be able to buy that next heat press, to be able to get a good quality heat press like a Hotronix, and more accessories, and then get even more gains and save even more time and save even more money and get even more revenue in. So there's lots and lots of things you can do there that will supercharge you. There's 2 different types of pillow you can get as well. So you've got your standard heat press pillows, and we've also got some Print Perfect pads. And it really comes down to what type of product you're using. So again, they're both very inexpensive to get hold of. And it's all about finding the right solution for the right job. So do take a bit of time to test and finally give yourself a couple of hours to think about these processes and find the most efficient way for you. And then stick to that, stick to it for a period of time, and then question it again. See if you can be even more efficient. See if there's another hack that you've learned you can apply to this.
We have got some really nice comments coming
Okay.
through, actually. Phil says that the LED reader saves him loads of time and he loves the Fusion with a quick slip. Who doesn't? Comfy and Cozy says they like these heat presses because they don't have a huge footprint. Dawn has confirmed it is Dawn from the Winter Warm-Up event from Delabella. And Armchair Detective says the Winter Warmer Digital will be great. Thanks. Further question, if you've got time for one. Dawn says, I use a cover sheet for everything. Is that necessary for transfers?
I think it is always necessary. So, Dawn.
Andy's doing bad practice today,
I do.
Dawn.
I do. I dropped this just before we went live and I couldn't quite reach it. But yes, I would say that if you're using a cold peel heat transfer, always use a piece of release paper, because if you're using a cold peel transfer, and I think you've got the auto open, if I remember correctly, Dawn, it means it'll be trying to pull that transfer up when it auto opens. So that way, the only thing that's kind of getting released and jumping is the release paper. So definitely there. And to be honest with you, it is good practice, because it's not so much, some of the hot peel ones, they don't need it, but you might find that actually if you do make a mistake, like put the transfer up the wrong way, if you did that and the transfer was, if that was transfer, the powder side was facing upwards, you went about your business and you just fuse that now, what you're going to find is that's going to fuse to the top of the platen. It'll come off, but you could lose half an hour, depending on the transfer, the size of it. Cleaning that press, you've got to probably let it go cold. You've got to clean it down. It's going to be a real pain for you, and you're going to lose hours. So even if you're using hot peel, just by putting a release paper, so if you did have that wrong, all you're going to do if you put the release paper under there now is fuse the transfer to the release paper. Release paper is £12 for 50 sheets. So it's like, it's nothing. It's a mistake, but it's not an expensive one. That way you can easily solve that. So if I hadn't have dropped that and I didn't have a slightly scraggly piece of release paper, to be honest, then I would be using a release paper every single time. I think it's good for good practice that way. And it does take me on to different types of release paper. So 99 times out of 100, having a release paper, just a standard release paper that we sell on the website, styles.co.uk, will solve most problems. If anyone's having problems with scorching and you're not using any kind of release paper, that's a good place to start with as well. Molly is going to cover this a lot in the winter warm-up episode. She has done this with some nice videos on the what we call the Arch method, which is available on our YouTube channel, when to use which release paper. But again, it's another way of taking your heat press to the next level, because one of the questions we get a lot is around heat sensitive materials, and we found this a lot at the winter warm-up event. There was a bit of a hesitancy around using more expensive heat sensitive products, or sometimes that could just be like a £4 polyester football shirt. You're like, do you know what, I get scorches, I don't like it, I'm not sure about it. Or perhaps you want to do something like suede or fleece, that's something that is quite difficult to do. The best place to start with is with what we call a grip flex. It's like a Teflon pad, adds a protective layer into it. We're not going to go into too much detail because Molly is going to cover that for you, but this is a great way of taking your heat press to the next level, because it allows you to add more product types and more product materials into your portfolio, which again, premium products have much bigger margins than sort of standard products. So this is another way of taking that heat press to the next level by having more versatility with the products that are going under it. For example, bags. This was something that I got asked with a couple of times at the winter warm-up event, and when unfortunately the one in Rallies, we didn't have the right platen with us. But I just wanted to follow up because I imagine the person who spoke to me about that is probably watching. So put the heat press pillow down for now. I want to talk about duffel bags. So take that platen away. And we're going to bring in the 18 centimeter round platen. So again, all shapes and sizes. So like Beth said, if you're using baby grows or you want to go from the whole size range of 3 months to 4XL adults, there's an option for you to decorate with. And one easy way to decorate bags with is with this 18 centimeter round pattern combined with a caddy. You probably do want a caddy because you're going to let that bag hang off. Again, it's got the same pattern, just because it's round, just works just the same. You can see the lever probably a bit better here. Let's stand out to the side. The lever just here. Just lock that into place. Then that means bags like this are really easy to decorate. So let me just take some of the stuffing out of this.
I just realised Instagram has just given itself a filter for the last 20 minutes.
Is it a nice filter on
You
Instagram?
didn't have cat ears or anything. It was
Okay,
just
that's
a
good.
colour change. We're back to normal now.
Okay.
Sometimes it does that.
So if you want to heat print onto duffel bags, you're going onto the long section, use like probably a 15 by 10, 15 by 20, 15 by 25 centimeters is probably the best option for you. Or the 18 centimeter round will be good here as well, depending on how many patterns you have, because you can just hook the bags on. So again, we're sitting either side of the straps. This zip is sitting off the side here, because what we don't want to do is apply heat directly onto a plastic or metal zip. Plastic will melt it. Metal is going to make it really hot and you could burn yourself. So you can either put the 18 centimeter round one on there. Then you've got this whole area here to apply to, which is something we're seeing a lot. We're seeing a lot of interest in duffel bags and a lot of questions about these at the moment. So expect to see a lot more of these over the next couple of months. And if you want to decorate the end, like we did here, very simple. You just hook it onto your heat press. You can see we've made sure that the platen is sitting just within the standard size of duffel bags. So that means that all the edges are off to the side here. And you've got a nice, smooth, easy surface to access. Let me stand to the side so you can see that a bit better. See, the whole bag is hanging up here. Now you just heat apply anything onto there. And don't be afraid of the materials that these are made of, because they're very easy to decorate heat transfers onto. We've applied all of our heat transfer types onto this bag before with the different materials, even with a little bit of weave onto a little bit of coating. We've not found any problems. So again, it's another way of taking your heat press to the next level. You've just added a different attachment onto it, and straight away you can do 2 different placements onto duffel bags. And in all honesty, you could use the 18 centimeter round one in quite a lot of places. So if it was like a junior hoodie, you could easily decorate onto that. You could do, depending on how much clearance you've got, you could possibly do a left chest as well.
You could do the tops of bucket hats.
Tops of bucket hats is a great one. We've done that a few times before. That's been very popular. Bucket hats are still not going anywhere. They're hanging around. So expect to see them again still next summer. So if that's not something you're offering, this is another way of adding a nice revenue stream into your business. And we could use it for the left chest. So we've got a polo shirt like this. Again, the buttons here are going to be a problem for pressure. The collar coming down as well. So we want to isolate the areas. It's a very easy way of just like that. You've got perfect surface for applying a transfer of vinyl onto your polo shirt, which again, something we're seeing a lot of, something that's very popular at the moment. A few of the blanks companies I've spoken to over the last week have been telling me that polyester polo shirts are really popular at the moment in the UK, especially for workwear and corporate wear. So by having something where you can isolate that area, or the quick slip where you can easily get the polo shirts on and off, especially with the polyester, you could combine a normal quick slip and a pillow together. You're doing polo shirts as well. So if you want the quick slip, we do have quick slips for this pattern. Or if you're doing a front and a back print with this, you might want to just put the pillow in here, glide it on. And again, it's another way of isolating the area. As you can see here, Hopefully that makes sense. So you've got the buttons are off.
That's better, yeah.
So that way, the only part that's getting heat is this section which has the pillow underneath there. So it's nice and straightforward for everyone.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Armchair Detective said, are all of the platens optional extras, please?
Yeah. So you can buy a heat press and get started out of the box as it comes. So all the heat press platens are always available. They're always in stock and they always ship. If you order by 4 o'clock, they'll ship the same day as well. So if you've got that rush job comes in, some customer asks you something weird in one for you, like, how do I even do that? Let me go and see if there's a platen styles.co.uk. And we've only covered some of the simple ones today. We've got shoe platens, we've got hat bill platens. If you want to decorate the flat part of a hat, we've got a platen for that. You could do 4 at the same time. Anyone who's been thinking about decorating the Ordis sliders, which have been really popular this year, we have a special platen for that. We've done, I think we might have even done a live on that, but we've definitely done a few videos. We call it a can cooler platen. It's one that's been developed by our American colleagues for the can cooler, which is the soft sort of neoprene material that goes around your beer, keeps it nice and cold. We found this to be fantastic for doing sliders on. You could do 6 or 3 pairs of sliders at the same time, and they're really easy to decorate under that pattern. So again, it just popped in and out on either of these heat presses. If it's a Hotronix, you just pop the different pattern on, throw your sliders on, pre-press all together, put the transfers on, and then just press again and you're done. And it's really, really simple. We've tried different types of vinyl on there, different types of transfer, and they've been really popular, very easy to get started with. I know some customers have been using that can cooler for doing different beanies on there as well, so you can do many at the same time. You could do socks with it on there. You could put 8 socks on at the same time if you want to put transfers onto that as well. If you have an idea for something and you're like, I don't know how to do that, is it possible? Get in touch, ask us that question. We love to hear these challenges and we always have a solution for it. So if it's the size of the placement, if it's the material, the jacket or the t-shirt, the hoodie, jumpers made out from, there's always a solution to it. You just have to ask. So have we got any more questions coming in?
No, I think it's winding down.
Okay, in that case, I'm just going to recap a couple of those for you. So pillows are a great place to start. Isolate those areas. Get those buttons out of the way. This is a great way of turbocharging that heat press. Pillows have multiple different sizes. We have thicker versions. So if you've got something a bit more structure, perhaps that bag would probably go under there better than the pillow. We've got things with different structure. We've got different cover sheets. We've got hooks. We've got pins for weeders. Again, think about how you can save 5-10 seconds. Even if it's just getting a tape off a hat. Every second counts when you're a heat printer, because the more capacity you have, the more money you're going to make. And it doesn't mean you have to hire another person. You're just making that heat press work for you more than you work for it. So anything you can do to take it to the next level. And I think probably the show stealer today, tag long pattern. So this way you can do a neck label and a front print at the same time. And you can even spin it around and do a left shoulder, left arm print straight afterwards. That process could have saved you probably a minute each t-shirt, I think, with some of the process you were talking about, the little bit of information I had to work with. I think it could save at least a minute, if not more. And that could have such a massive impact on your business. So do go after today, do go back, time how long it takes to print everything you do. And that way you can start to work in some metrics. You can start to create some goals for how much quicker you want to be without having any negative effect on how you're applying the heat transfer. If you follow the instructions, just add in different accessories and different hacks, you're going to save so much time for your business, because it's all about the loading, the placement. And if anyone wants to save so much time, if you are doing, say, more than 200 t-shirts a day, I would highly encourage you to go and watch the ProPlace video. It's on a YouTube channel. It's called How to Save 86 Working Days a Year. If you're using a ProPlace and you do 500 shirts a day, you're going to save 86 working days a year because of the time it takes with the placement, the threadability, the quick slip. Everything is just built to be the most efficient athlete of a heat press there is. It's like the best of the best. But even if you're just doing 100, 200 shirts a day, that heat press will pay for itself very quickly, and it's going to increase your capacity more than you could ever possibly imagine.
Before we finish, Andy, now that the live has come to an end, can you confirm for Darren if Molly shared the Chick-fil-A sauce?
I can confirm that she did. Yeah, thank you very much, Darren, for sending that through to us. It was a very nice surprise. And thank you to Darren, everyone else who's been watching today. And just if you have anything where you think this doesn't make sense, this is not very efficient, please get in touch with us. We love to hear these questions and we'd love to help you. So thank you for watching. We'll be back very soon. It is Leavers next week. So let me grab that hoodie I have here.
The blue one as well as Leavers as well.
Anyone that is going to be heat printing, anything, Leavers is massive. It's starting to get to the season. You need to be starting to have those conversations with people. We've had so many people requesting the 25 artwork because it's got so many uses. Think more than Leavers, think different sports clubs, any school trips. Think about that October half term. It's coming around extremely quickly. Think about things you could do at Christmas if you're doing printing for universities or any colleges where they have any type of 2025 specific event or club. Now's the time to learn how to artwork this. We're going to teach you how to artwork it so you can get it right every single time, make your life very easy. You'll be able to follow along, ask us lots of questions. We're going to take you through the whole process. And then we're going to talk about what's new for 2025. There are some new product developments, which again is going to make your life more efficient. You're going to get a better print, you're going to get a better result, and you can take yourself to the next level. And that will all be revealed next Friday at 12 p.m. So do make sure you join us live. Anyone that's joining us on Instagram and TikTok, I think you'll probably get the most out of it by joining us on either YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, because we are going to do some screen share, because that way you can see how the artworking is done. So I would encourage you to make sure you either subscribe on YouTube, you follow us on LinkedIn or Facebook, so that way you get those notifications and you'll be able to join us and find out how you can make a lot of money from Leavers 2025 and really attack the 24-25 season. Thanks again, and we'll see you all next week.